The network marketing rabbit hole. This is a conversation, our third installment about your real odds of having success. So, a lot of times people will ask that question, is this really real? Can I really make money here? Because my last six cousins, who all did some type of thing, they ain't never make no money. I don't know anybody that's ever made a full-time income. I hear about these big stories, but I've never actually met someone. So a lot of people encounter this objection when it comes to what are the real opportunities for me to make money in this thing called network marketing. So let's talk about it. Number one, when you ask the question, what are my chances of being successful? Or some companies will make available an income disclosure statement where they will break down the number of people in the company who are earning a particular level of income. And usually you'll see that over 80% of the company is going to be earning maybe $100, couple $100 a year, okay? And then you'll see maybe 1 to 3% of the people in the company are earning what is a full-time income. Could be 50,000 a year to over $1 million a year. And those numbers usually are going to bear out. You'll find that a lot of people that get involved are they're wanting the opportunity, but they may not have the prerequisite drive and will and coachability, self-discipline, consistency to be a full-time participant in a part-time endeavor. So there's some different variables that you have to take into consideration before you completely just throw out the entire industry of network marketing as a scam where nobody makes money and only the people at the top make money. So the reason people say that, only the people at the top make money, is because they'll look at a particular company and they'll say, well, I'm only seeing a handful of individuals who are touted as top income earners, and it's the same people every year. So why are there not new people breaking into that top echelon of income earners? Now, part of that could be the structure of the company. Part of that could be timing. A lot of business, as you know, is timing. If I get involved with a company in year one of that company and I go to work and I really put my nose to the grindstone and I'm just going, and I end up building a sizable group and organization, well, yeah, over time, I'm going to continue to reap the benefits of that hard work that I did in that first 1, 2, 3, 4 year period, 5, 6, 7 year period, so that in year 8, 9, 10, if the company is still around, yeah, I'm going to reap the benefits of that. And it's certainly much harder for someone brand new to come into that company. Why? Because by year 5, 6, 7, a lot of people have already heard of the company because the new people were out spreading the word. By year 5, 6, 7, whatever preconceived notions about it being a new viable opportunity, they've gone away because now it's usually in that stability phase, right? So there's 4 phases: formulation, concentration, momentum, stability. So formulation is the idea of the company. You start sharing it. Concentration is when you start putting the foundation in place, and there's a lot of money to be made if those other things that I talked about in the first installment are in place. And then momentum happens when just a lot of people are excited and their businesses are absolutely booming. And momentum can last, there's no set time, but it could be anywhere from 12 to 24 months to 36 months to 4 to 5 years. So there's no set time limit. It really just depends on the company. And you'll see it. Okay, you'll see it if you're in a company, because you'll notice that the stage is flooded during recognition with brand new stories, like literally 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 100 brand new stories of people who hit certain achievements within the compensation plan, whether it's 50 grand, 100 grand a year. You'll just see so much of that. You'll know that your company's in momentum. And that, again, can vary from 12 to 24 months to 36 to 5 years. So it just depends. Might be longer, might even be shorter. Now, because those few people at the top did what they were supposed to do, and they had luck and timing, because you can't, timing is timing. Either you're coming in at the right time or you're not, and you had the presence of mind to take advantage of the opportunity, well, then there you go, okay? And again, it's just a different opportunity if you're coming in later. It doesn't mean that you can't create your own momentum. It doesn't mean that you still can't break through. It's just exponentially harder to do so. And so what typically happens is people come into any type of network marketing company, whether it's been around for 1 to 3 years or it's been around 5 years or longer, and they keep hearing, hey, listen, we're a great company, we're relatively new. If you go to work, if you do the things I'm coaching you to do, you could be successful. Now, generally speaking, that's true. Now, how do you define success? Here's what I tell people. Listen, if you are in a company, again, here are the core questions you want to ask. What's the core leadership at the corporate level in terms of their integrity, their reputation of how they treat people, how they deal with people, their previous works before getting involved with this particular company, their track record? What is the company's product in terms of, is it something that you see yourself being very passionate about for the next 10 years minimum 10 years? You have to know, I can be absolutely passionate about promoting this particular product or service for the next 10 years. Easy, I know I can do that. And then third, and is it consumable? Meaning, is it something that people want? Is it a life-changing product? Okay. And very few are going to be game-changing in terms of the industry overall, but it has to be life-changing. It has to make a significant, noticeable improvement in whoever you're going to share this particular product with, okay? Third is compensation. Can I make enough income here to make a difference in my life? Now, going back to your definition of success, perhaps for you, if you earn an extra, let's say $500 to $1,000 a month, hey, that's great. I got some utilities paid off, or it's going to pay for a car note, or it's going to help to pay off the mortgage faster. So great. I tell people, look, if you usually can generate an extra $500 to $1,000 a month, no problem. And it's on a part-time basis, and that's like having a second job or whatever. It's an extra $12,000, $6,000 to $12,000 a year. It's nothing to sneeze at, or you could use it for investing, etc. If you're wanting to make significant income between $5,000 and $10,000 a month, it's a different conversation. Now we have to look at the dynamics of what you're coming into. Has the company been around for 5 years or more? Because if it has, the level of dedication, work, discipline, consistency, the tenets of promoting, prospecting, and presenting, you have to eat, sleep, and breathe that every single day. And you got to put your head down and be willing to do it for at least 36 months and not look at the results. See, ladies and gentlemen, most people are not willing to do that. So then it becomes harder to gauge the viability of the opportunity itself. So I'm giving you the guideposts of the probability of you being successful. If you're coming into a company that's 1 to 2 years off the ground, we call that ground floor, or you're coming into a company that has 5 or more years in the game, if they're still around after 5 years, then there's something they're doing right. Doesn't mean that everything they're doing is right, but it does mean they're doing something right if they haven't missed a commission cycle, if people are being paid on time and the company has some level of growth 5 years in, they're doing something right. All right. Again, it doesn't mean they're doing everything right. Doesn't mean they're even going to be around a year from now. It just means, okay, these are some indicators that they're doing something on the right track. All right. So if you're wanting to generate a full-time income, if you're wanting to generate a six-figure income, it's a different proposition altogether. And you're going to be severely underpaid for that first 24 to 36 months. Some people, it might be 60 months, right? Could be 5 years. So anywhere between 2 to 5 years, you're going to be severely working your butt off, and you're not going to see a lot in the return. Now, this is not unique again to network marketing. Most businesses work that way, all right? And you'll hear this example given a million times, which is if you were to start a franchise, well, the loan that you take out to start the average small franchise is, I believe, between $75,000 and $85,000 to get it up and running. Okay, I'm not even talking about like a McDonald's or Wendy's or Burger King or Taco Bell. That's $1 million plus just to get the license. I'm talking about a small franchise business owner, a mom and pop franchise where you can generate, at least a six-figure intake in terms of what you're bringing in after, in your sales revenue. So let's say you spend $85,000, you take out a loan to do that. And let's say you're working your business, you got to get your, the lease, the products, the uniforms, employee insurance, all this stuff that you got to put together. Well, by the time you sell your first your first donut, your first cup of coffee, well, you're in the negative, you're in the red, okay? Because you had to take out a loan to get everything up and running. And after you pay everybody and you have the profit after expenses, it may take you 2 to 5 years before you even break even. Now, we all know, I'll give you a simpler example. If I spend $1.5 million on a McDonald's license and I do everything right and I go to Hamburger University for another 50 or 60 grand, it's going to take, on average, between 6 to 10 years before I can pay that loan off. 6 to 10 years. Now, I do the McDonald's franchise because I know it's going to be profitable. I know that people are going to come and buy because of the brand name recognition. That's why I'm paying so much for it. But again, as a business owner, think about it. I'm not going to be profitable for 6 to 10 years. And nobody says anything about that. So why do people get involved in the network marketing industry and they get their panties in a bunch? Because they're not making big money in their first 6 to 12 months. It's childish. It's silly. However, you have to be able to gauge it to the best of your ability in terms of the effort you're putting forth and what you're getting back in return. So here's what I tell people. If you put your head down for 12 months, okay, 12 months, and you're working your business like a part-time job, meaning you're putting in at least 15 hours a week. Listen to me, this is very important. Don't lose this point. Show me someone who's putting in a minimum of 15 hours every week. No weeks off, consistently 15 hours a week. It's not a lot. It's 168 hours in a week. If you're working a 40 to 50 hour job, and then you put on another 15 on top of that, let's say you're putting in 60 hours a week on your job, and then another 15 on a part-time business. Ladies and gentlemen, you're still looking at like 90 hours of time for sleeping and everything else that you do in your life. So it's not a lot, but you got to be consistent. Show me someone who consistently puts in income producing activities, 15 hours a week consistently for 12 consecutive months, no weeks off, and they're 100% coachable, and they're doing what their particular system has in place for them to do. Then let's look at your numbers. And then I can give you a very honest and accurate a fairly accurate assessment if you're in the right opportunity or not. Okay? It's very simple. And guess what? Some people are going to do, like some people that would do that, they would discover, okay, this is not the right company. There's no way I'm going to ever make real money here. They'll know, okay? But the problem is most people won't do it. And so then you may very well be in a crappy company or a crappy comp plan. You may be in a company that's been around so long, your chances are absolutely zero of making real money in that company. But you'll never know because most people would never have the discipline just to have that stick-to-itiveness for 12 months. So this is another challenge about being in the network marketing industry and what people say about it versus what is the reality, because most people are lazy. That's just another fact that you have to factor in as you're assessing, is this an industry that I want to be a part of? Is this something that I want to give it a shot at in terms of giving myself the opportunity to make income? So for me personally, when I got started and someone said, well, look at the income disclosure statement, there's only a small amount of people that are making money. I was like, well, there's only a small amount of people that use the gym. There's a lot of people that have gym memberships, but it's a small percentage that actually go on a consistent basis. I didn't join the gym and say, what are my chances of being successful? I joined the gym and said, I'm going to kill this thing. I'm going to maximize my membership because I'm not going to take any days off. That was my mindset. And so my conversations were only with people who were in the top 1, 2, 3%, because I'm only interested in maximum results. That's how I got to a multiple six-figure annual income, because that was the decision I made, and I understood I was going to be severely underpaid and overworked in those first 24 to 36 months, and I had no problem with that. So I find that if you're willing to do the hard work in terms of looking in the mirror, having that assessment, then you give yourself an opportunity to find out for yourself if I'm in a viable company, if I'm in a viable opportunity or not. So you owe it to yourself to do that. Once you've done that, come through on the other side, then we can talk about, okay, this is not a good fit. This is not the right company. This may not even be the right industry for you in terms of what you want to do financially. And that's okay, but at least you'll know because you gave yourself that opportunity. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's talking about the odds, the probability of you being successful versus what a lot of people do is they gas you up and they say, hey, you can make $1 million a month. You can make $1 million a year. They do all this happy talk, and I call it futuring. One day you're gonna. Now, yes, you do have to have some goals for sure, but a lot of times people are misled and misguided because they dangle a carrot in front of them, and that carrot is never going to be realized because they're not in the right opportunity. They just don't know how to properly assess it. So hopefully this gave you some greater insight down the rabbit hole of network marketing, the odds of you being successful. See you on the next installment. Have an awesome and amazing day. Deuces.